Now I'm going to talk about something that I know is going to interest probably most of the people that are going to come here and listen to it, and I'm going to get right into it. We're talking about chips, right? Microchips inside of human bodies. And Peter Benton, I really appreciate you reposting that part that I had mentioned. And it's funny because this morning I was doing the podcast about the microchips, and I went to see your video before I started, and I saw that you had integrated a very important part of the stream that I'd mentioned something, and I didn't complete what I was saying, and it was the microchips. So I was mentioning, right? Maybe it's my dad microchipped. We're talking about microchips that are coming out. Oh, they're going to microchip people. Well, who says my father wasn't chipped before I was born? And what about in the 50s, 60s, those images of people declaring that they had microchips that were found by doctors inside of humans' legs, arms, and even inside of their brains? But now here's a scary thought. Who says it's the aliens doing that? Maybe it is still aliens, but maybe it's aliens that are here on Earth. Maybe humans understood that the aliens were coming to put in microchips to study us or to change our DNA somehow. And that the elites, the bad ones here on Earth, picked up on that pretty fast, tried to develop that technology. We back engineer UFOs, we back engineer everything. You got China back engineering all the military weapons of the Americans, and then they're able to make their own, and vice versa. And I think that's pretty much what everyone's doing right now. But those microchips that are inside of human beings that were supposedly abductees, who says it's not, an adversarial country during the Cold War, or even before that, that they were trying to put chips inside of humans. So there could be, in theory, a definite alien and human contact. And you know why? Because humans are doing what aliens are doing. Why? Why are we trying to fly around in UFOs and change the stars? Why are we trying to divert asteroids that are coming towards Earth in the near future? Some people are worried about them. I'm a little worried about them also, even though we can assume that it's a natural occurrence, that at one point Earth will be struck by asteroids. It's struck by asteroids in probably smaller fragments each and every day. But the human experimentation, like I had talked about MK Ultra, is something for me that remains something that's being done here on Earth, and it's not something that's coming from outside of Earth. I'm not so afraid of aliens. I'm more afraid of humans here on Earth, what they've been doing. What are we doing underground? The talk of nano tech and nanoparticulates and everything that is small that can be inserted in a bloodstream, and really scary. In ufology, we talk about alien implants, and this is a term that ufologists use to describe the physical objects that are allegedly placed inside somebody's body, whether it be his head, his arms, his legs, a body part. And this would occur after an abduction by an alien. The claimed capabilities of these implants, while they range from telepresence to mind control to biotelemetry. Very interesting. The latter, akin to humans tagging wild animals for study. As with UFO subjects in general, the idea of alien implants has seen very little attention from mainstream scientists. Is this deliberate? Well, I believe it's deliberate. I believe it's the reason why they're being secretive about it. And I also believe that the Pentagon and CIA, FBI, everyone involved in artificial intelligence or intelligent community or team are definitely looking into whether this is an alien invasion, right? And that's what I think. And it sort of looks like a secret alien invasion. So if aliens are hiding themselves in space, on the moon, and, they're blending in with nature, well, if you want to see an alien and you want to understand the alien world around you, even here on Earth, if there is one, open your eyes and analyze everything around you. Become as conniving as the aliens are. How would you be able to study humans without them knowing you're studying them? Alien implants. A little bit of history. According to Peter Rogerson, writing in Magonia magazine, talking about the concept of alien implants, can be traced to a March 1957 Long John Nebel radio show interview with ufologist John Robinson, where Robinson recounted at that time a story of a neighbor's claim of being kidnapped by aliens, and that would have been in 1938, and kept subdued by small earphones placed behind his ears. Massachusetts residents Betty Andreasen claimed that aliens had implanted a device in her nose during her supposed alien abduction in 1967. Maybe that's what my sore eye is. First publicized by Raymond Fowler in his book was called The Andreasen Affair. A Canadian woman named Dorothy Wallace claimed a similar experience in 1983. In later years, the claims of authors like Whitey Stryber would popularize alien abduction ideals in general, including reports of unusual implants associated with abductions. But according to skeptical investigator Joe Nichols, supposed alien implants appear to be ordinary materials such as a shard of glass. So you see, or a jagged piece of metal, carbon fiber. The objects are often found lodged in extremities such as toes, hands, and shins. Nichols cites Israeli teaching hospital department head Virgil Priscu's opinion that there's no mystery, no implants, explaining that normal objects picked up during a fall or by walking barefoot often become surrounded by scar tissue. So in theory, without confirming anything, if you're smart enough, will come to an incredible conclusion fast enough that, hey, wait a minute, why are scientists, doctors, and military personnel and the Pentagon, I could go on with a list, why are they hiding this in theory or doubting that this is even possible? So again, we said the claimed capabilities of these alien implants range from telepresence to mind control to biotelemetry, and that's what I want us to go take a look at. What is telepresence? Telepresence refers to a few things. This is a little complicated. It refers to a set of technologies which allow a person to feel as if they were present, to give the appearance or effect of being present via telerobotics at a place other than their true location. Can we call that a false reality? This is extreme. Telepresence requires that the user's senses will interact with specific stimuli in order to provide the feeling of being in that other location. Additionally, users may be given the ability to affect the remote location. Ooh, I talk about my energy problems. Why do you think I'm looking into this crap? In this case, the user's position, movements, actions, voice, etc., everything may be sensed to transmit and duplicate in the remote location to bring about this effect. Therefore, information may be traveling in both directions between the user and the remote location. The highest possible level of video telephony, telepresence via video deploys greater technical sophistication and improved fidelity of both sight and sound than in a traditional video conferencing. Technical advancements in mobile collaboration have also extended the capabilities of video conferencing beyond the boardroom for use with handheld mobile devices, enabling collaboration independent of location. That is telepresence. A remote-controlled economy. Think of it. Satellites in the air, microchips in our arms. Mind control. Changing people's perception, the reality, changing reality, the perception of reality. We do live in a false reality. Maybe this is what's occurring right now. This is what I'm seeing. Then there's mind control, done through many ways, but one of them, brainwashing as mind control. Menticin, there's coercive persuasion, there's thought control, thought reform, and of course, the re-education is the concept that human mind can be altered or controlled by certain psychological techniques. Brainwashing is said to reduce its subject's ability to think critically or independently, to allow the introduction of new, unwanted thoughts and ideals into their minds, as well as to change their attitudes, values, and even their beliefs. So with everyone chipped and the altering of their belief system, they will go get the rest of the people that do not want to go along with the New World Order, and the people themselves will be the ones that will turn on their own family, friends. Actually, it's very scary because that's what we're seeing in the news right now, where people, the leftists, the rights, and it's just ridiculous, silly, absurd news every day that we're seeing and listening to. It's just, most of us know it's absolutely ridiculous, but why are some going along with that? And not just some, we got hundreds of thousands of people that seem to be going along with the dumbest idea any of us have ever heard about. Why? Well, that maybe, possibly, in theory, altering their minds. Now, all these terms that I'm talking to you about have to do with these alien implants. And I'm going to talk to you about the scariest one, which is biotelemetry. Okay? Biotelemetry, or medical telemetry, involves the application of telemetry in biology, medicine, and other healthcare to remotely monitor various vital signs of ambulatory patients, right? Okay, the most common usage for biotelemetry is in dedicated cardiac care telemetry units or step-down units in hospitals, although virtually an psychological signal could be transmitted. Application is typically limited to cardiac monitoring, but hey, you do what they want, right? Biotelemetry is increasingly being used to understand animals and wildlife by remotely measuring psychology, behavior, and energetic status. So they're treating us like animals, guys. You understand what they're trying to do? It can be used to understand the way animals migrate. They could also understand, in theory, I'm just shooting that out there, if they did this to humans, they could understand all of our movements, monitor all of our body temperatures. They could go to your house at 2 a.m. and say, you're coming with us, you're sick. This is just touching the baseline. If you can open your mind and understand how far this can go. So again, it can be used to understand the way animals migrate and also the environment that they are experiencing by measuring the, get this, abiotic variables and how it's affecting their psychological status at the same time by measuring biotic variables such as heart rate and temperature. Telemetry systems can either be attached externally to animals or placed internally, which the types of transmission for the device is dependent on the environment that the animal moves in. For example, to study the movement of swimming animals and to get those signals using radio transmission or ultrasonic transmission are often used, but land-based or flying animals can be traced with GPS and satellite transmissions. So it's literally like we're going to be monitored from A to Z in everything we're doing. And aside from that, if these were alien chips, it would make sense of them wanting to know and monitor us. Of course, it makes total sense, right? But if humans are going to be doing it to humans, and depending on who has control, it should be done with our permission upon asking us, and or based on our own belief systems, and for some, their religions that are totally against this. Now, welcome to the open-minded part. The ones that are really awake, if you're still here by this point, are already thinking what I'm going to say, is that they could also focus on one certain area of the world and see reactions based on what's happening around the wars and what's happening through the pandemic, and to analyze and to even maybe change and alter certain parts of the world, and very easily being able to focus on what happens afterwards when these experimental rules or laws are applied by these psychotic medical associations. They can monitor everything. So once something happens anywhere around the world, and there's migration, and there's people moving around, and things are happening, and groups are forming, they can analyze that very, very quickly. Notice the use now of, drones, helicopters. This can all be done over top of us, sort of like, I'm sorry to say it, but like an African safari. Maybe these psychos that drive by with helicopters and shoot wild boars as they're hung out of these airplanes, these really big hunters. Well, try to relate humans to that idea as compared to animals. Look up everything that they've done experimentally on animals. And hey, I ain't putting hunters down there. Hunt for your food. Most logical people do that. The government, they're hunting us down like wild boars. And that was the point I was trying to make. Now, imagine the satellites and mobile devices. We talk about mobile devices. Yeah, listen, frequencies. Maybe even devices that we have no idea about, for them to alter our mind with a frequency. It's getting scary because I think science is at that point now. And of course, like back in the days when they took Albert Einstein's information about energy, even though it was a little off, to make the nuclear bomb and atomic bombs and whatnot, well, that's what they use knowledge for. They use it for strength and force against other countries and adversarial and foreign countries. And those foreign countries and adversarial countries do the exact same thing. And the problem is it's us, the regular people, civilians, that are always being harmed by this. All the frequencies that are around us, the satellites. Do the satellites have to do with the microchipping? And then you think of alien implants and now human implants. Are we? Listen, you want to talk about guinea pigs? It's a very scary thought when you think of it, but I'm trying to stick some sense in some of your minds. So, your body, your choice, for me, has always stuck. A whole lot of other silly things came out afterwards, like do this, do that, and this should be like this. And no, use common sense, right? Your body, your choice should always stick, no matter what. When you see women protesting and crying because they can't kill babies there for abortion rights and stuff, it's sort of scary, Women always have their rights and can always deal with a doctor. Nothing has changed. But the perception of reality for most of the people in this world has changed. Do you understand what I'm getting at? They need to put computer parts in us to be able to better interact with our psychology, our biology, our physical. You understand? And things like phones and even cell phones is that they always have a device around us to communicate with us themselves. Even though most people think that, aha, I have a telephone. Haha, I can do what I want. I can call who I want. Sure, you could. It's like somebody's giving someone a gift with a camera inside of it, right? To be able to monitor, to listen to, and to track at the same time everything that goes on, including your conversations, who you're to interact with, and where you're driving around to. You talk about 5G towers. Are those 5G towers at one point and computers going to interact with things like chips in our brains? Elon Musk, yeah, I like the guy, and I know he's trying to do some good, but here's the overall story of what's going on. What he's creating with Neuralink and the manipulation of brainwaves, etc., like Einstein, will have the elites that will go take that information and use that knowledge and then patent something themselves and then do it to humans. The ideal is to control us. And that's a very scary thought, but it's one that's very, very real. There's no lies here. So I have to say an incredible thank you for all of you for having taken the time to listen to this. I hope it was interesting. Alien implants is something that mainstream media is really not touching on. I thank you for listening.